everyone, and welcome to the next episode of L'Exclusive, the podcast hosted and presented by Paper Street Web Design and Marketing. As always, I'm your host, Nancy, and today I'm joined by Pete, our CEO and general guru. Hi, Pete.
Hey.
And Andrew, our web director and VP. Hi, Andrew.
Hi, Nancy.
If you tuned in last time, we did an episode about AI and how that's impacting the SEO world. As AI is now a big topic of conversation for law firms and website owners across the board, we thought that we'd continue the series a little bit and do an episode that talks about AI and website development specifically. So like last time, we're going to talk about what really you should know if you have a website and basically what contributions AI is making to the field of web development and what you can do on your own and what you shouldn't do on your own. All right, so let's kick this off right away and just do the most basic question. How is AI changing the way that clients are interacting with law firm websites?
All right, I'll handle that one right off the bat. In our aspect, it's search. AI search is slowly but surely going to replace overall regular search results. Gemini's really come on fast in the past, really the last month, to where they've integrated basically AI search into the top of almost every single search result, and it's starting to slowly replace organic search.
Let's change gears now and talk about the actual website themselves. A lot of people are like, AI is going to replace traditional websites. What does that mean? Does that mean anything? What should we know about that?
I wouldn't see it as necessarily replacing websites at all. What powers AI search is your website, is high quality content. If anything, your website and high quality content is going to be more important than ever. So I would say it's actually the opposite. Having a really strong website that ranks well in the AI search is going to be the most important aspect. So a good website does that.
Yeah, I really think it's going to be more valuable. Your website's even more valuable because the basis of all AI search is scanning websites. Your site's being indexed, whether you want to right now, by at least 5 to 10 different models on any given day. They're scanning your website. They're pulling that information into their index and making it part of the narrative. So what you want to figure out is whether you want to be part of that narrative or not. AI search is going to stay. It's going to be everything going forward. And if you don't have a website with good quality information, you're going to be left out of that narrative.
And I think it's interesting because, I think some people are like thinking of things in terms of marketing trends. Like, do I want to join the Google Ads trend? Do I join the Snapchat trend? Do I do things like that? But I think from what we're saying, what as a company, what we've seen out there, it's not so much an option with AI. AI is changing life itself. AI is changing everything. So it's not opting out of the latest trend in terms of technology. It's really, are you adapting to how society is changing? So if you think you can avoid this AI movement, you're going to be mistaken. So as a website owner, as a business owner, as a law firm owner, you got to at least pay attention to what's going on around you.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, let's talk to our attorneys. What is AI doing for law firm websites? Does it do anything?
For our team, actually, that kind of sounds like an AI question, but overall, I think the indexing of the website is the most important thing. Is your content. You can run content through AI and get a lot of garbage in and garbage out. But what you want to do is produce quality, unique content, and I'll talk about that more in detail with some future questions we have too. But really, it comes down to content on your website. That's where the biggest part of AI search and AI overall is for your website.
So what part of the websites are benefiting with AI? You already started talking about content, so we can kind of dive right in.
Yeah, the detailed content. There's a great article from a popular search engine journal that we'll link to once we're done that goes over a study they did. And they produced a fake company, fake results, fake information, and put it out there and saw what AI was indexing, basically, and what websites were more powerful than others to get you indexed. But what it really boiled down to, so you don't have to read the whole summary, is unique content. Unique, factual, hyper-focused content with dates and numbers and things like that. AI loves that. It eats it up. So the more AI content or more content you can put on your site that has very specific information, it will put that into the index and rely upon that and accurately spit it out. At the same time, you could be nefarious with it too, but we won't go into that. But overall, I would make sure that all your biographies for your attorneys are 100% accurate. They're up to date. They have everything that you want on the website. Same for your practice areas. Make sure they're detailed as possible. Have FAQs. Put as many question and answers on there. Put as much detailed information you can. Don't have generic stuff. Don't put out AI content that AI content will then absorb. That's not going to do anything. But it wants unique, verifiable content.
We see on the development side just how often all of these AI crawlers are going to our client websites. So if you're putting out unique content, they are absolutely picking it up almost immediately, which is amazing and kind of goes back to why you need to bolster a really strong website. Yeah, it's just going to be even more important.
It's funny because it's always been a rule of thumb for content marketing, for SEO, for just getting your brand across that you shouldn't have junk content. And if anything, this is just reinforcing what we've been saying for 25 years now. You got to put content out there that's going to actually inform your client and share something that they haven't seen a million times already. So you got to get a little creative. And, it's kind of like a catch-22 because you can get creative with AI, but just don't let AI write the content for you. AI is great to start writing the content and get ideas, but the same way it's going to do that, AI knows if the content was written by AI. You can have checks across the web to see if the content was like that. So you got to make sure that you keep with that good content mindset without relying on AI to satisfy AI. All right, moving on with that, a specific web development aspect is that AI can strategically improve the navigation and usability for your site visitors. How does that
Well, I mean, one way you can use it is to kind of organize your data. So websites obviously have tons of content, large sitemaps. What you would be using it for is to help you parse large amounts of data. AI is awesome for parsing different pages, helping parse your title tags, your meta descriptions, and keeping all of your content organized if you're trying to keep like a general sitemap going of your site in Excel and so forth.
Yeah, I like using as a kind of an assistant, like a double check. So taking a page that I've written and optimized and then throwing it back into AI just see if I missed anything. I don't let it full sail write content. I don't let it full sail edit my content. But I do let it be basically an assistant, and it's good at finding glitches, finding grammar issues, and making the site copy, that 2% better. So those are ways to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's also great for just generating ideas. If you needed, blog post ideas, it can help generate topics. We're not suggesting it writes it, but just generating topics with AI is great.
So does AI influence how your pages are organized and displayed when you're using like web development tools?
We get asked this question a lot on the SEO team. Is basically what's different for AI search and SEO, and there's really not much. AI bots and their scrapers are highly sophisticated, just like the regular old school SEO scrapers. In fact, sometimes they're the same models. Um, the key difference is they're going to parse your entire website. They're going to scan everything. So unless you made it really difficult with a lot of crazy JavaScript and a lot of buttons they have to click through and password protected pages, things like that, the AI is going to get to your content. So there's really no difference between how you want to display and organize the pages. If you follow best practices for SEO that have been for the past decades, you're going to do well in AI search too. One thing I will say is they do prefer more, I'll call them listicle articles where they're like top 10 lists, top 10 best law firms in this city and so forth. They do like that. Try to get yourself mentioned in those lists because those are organized and aggregated and so forth.
Okay, we have the website. You get clients to come to your website. That's great. Okay, so we talked about how AI can help with that. But what clients want to know, our clients want to know is how can AI help people looking at your website actually turn into a client? So the conversion, just seeing your website's great, but turning that from seeing your website into hiring you as their attorney. What can AI do to improve that?
Absolutely. So a big future technology that's emerging with AI is really advanced AI chatbots. So instead of it sounding like you're talking, previously there's been a lot of iterations of chatbots. They've been talking about them coming on for the last 10 years, but now the technology is actually finally ready. So having like a guided intake process instead of just filling out a contact form, that's going to be very popular. And then you can take it a step further too. And when you're getting leads on your website through CallRail, you can actually record them in CallRail, and it will give you summaries of what was discussed during the call. And then, yeah, you're basically going to be using AI much more in the intake process. And those are tools that are being adopted in our industry and tools that Paper Street's going to be adopting soon as well.
It's interesting too, because, if you can take it a little further too, some of our clients have started, like in our Zoom meetings, like using AI note takers and things like that. And even that, like if you're having digital meetings with your clients and things like that, and you want them to go from that first initial meeting to an actual client of yours, record your meetings and have it transcribed. So that way, you didn't miss anything. You can relay all the information that you need that way and things like that. So AI can even go a step above your actual website to help turn these potential clients into real clients by just making sure you talked about what needed to be talked about, that you heard everything that the client may or may not have said, and things like that. So that's kind of a little bit outside of our scope in terms of the website world. But that being said, it's still a really good tool to take. And even your internal meetings, again, I'm going off on a little tangent here, but humor me. Like in an internal meeting, like you're having a company-wide meeting, your whole firm is talking. It doesn't hurt to record the meeting, look over the notes, and make sure someone didn't have something really great that they said, and then you forgot about it a day later. So it can only help across the board. And like I said, just make life easier in general. But back to websites. All right. I'm a lawyer. Pete, you're a lawyer. Our clients are lawyers. There is some sort of ethical and risks and things like that, people that worry about with AI. So what do we have to talk about in terms of like trust and ethics and compliance? What are those risks that people should be aware of?
Yeah, the big risk is just fully trusting AI at this stage. Again, I use it as an assistant to help out. So if I'm writing content, I have it check things. If I'm writing code, I have it check things. If I'm planning a strategy, I have it check things. So primarily I'm doing 90%, 85% of the work, and then it's acting as a second check on everything. That's how I would recommend everyone do it so far. Fully trust AI to write your website and build your web environment and build the website, design it. It's going to fail. There'll be ethical issues. There'll be problematic issues. It may actually take you longer to produce the website. So it's not there yet. It might be there in a few years, but right now it's still, you still need a human involved in the environment for marketing. It can definitely speed up certain operations. Absolutely. We have our developers check code with it. It's the best thing is when we get inherit code from other people. And we can take that code that's a lot of times a mess, decipher it easily through AI, tell us what the functions were that some other developer wrote, and then go through and start editing things that the client requested. So that's great help. But it shouldn't be the first step of producing anything. There's just been countless false positives, especially on reports. We'll get reports sent to us from various marketing companies and so forth saying this, this, and this. And there's just so many false positives that it's grabbing incorrect code from the website. It's reviewing it, and it's just not, we end up spending an hour or two on a report that's completely false, basically, once we've proven it. So
yeah, those are all great points. And as Pete said, it is your assistant for design and development and producing websites. It makes you faster, but it is not your only tool in your arsenal. I think we're a very long ways away from that. We've been testing different technologies, of course, as we are at the forefront of design and development and implementing AI. And I think it's still a very long ways before it's building back-end systems that you can help manage, building fully custom sites and so forth. So it's something that just makes you more effective. It's a tool.
And I'm probably boring to some of our team and our clients because I say the same thing all the time, but it's true. When you think about artificial intelligence, you think sci-fi, you think robots, but that actually puts a really good analogy to this, okay? In the medical world, AI and robots are helping to conduct surgery. If you're having a robot conduct your surgery, you still want a doctor there and other medical professionals supervising that to make sure the robot doesn't go haywire and things like that. So there's somebody has to be overseeing that. So in the same way, it's kind of like that with your website. Sure, it's not as extreme. It's not life or death, but think of it that way. You don't want these AI bots or robots, whatever you want to call them, running the show, doing everything without human intervention because you don't know what could go wrong. There might be a huge issue that completely goes berserk. So again, as Andrew said, as Pete said, assistant, absolutely. Running the show, definitely not going to be in your best interest. All right, looking to the future, I don't think anybody really expected AI to explode onto the scene as quickly as it did and change things as fast as it did. So it's kind of hard to predict where this is all going to go. But if we had to say how AI is going to change web development for our attorney clients and things like that, What do you think that those changes are going to be that we can say with some degree of accuracy?
Yeah, speed is the key. It's going to speed up content. It's going to speed up design. It's going to speed up development time. It's going to speed up overall marketing time and just allow us to do more. Again, it's not there fully for everything. You need human interaction with it, but you'll be able to speed up all your processes and take on more work.
Absolutely. Think about trying to aim for being 10 to 20% faster. And with that other 10 to 20% of saved time, you can put that toward other marketing resources, other tools for your website, and building overall better products.
So definitely not something that can be ignored. But again, if we have to, if the attorneys are listening to us, if website owners are listening to us, what mistake should we tell them to stop doing in big bold letters? What is the mistake you're making with AI?
Yeah, the biggest mistake I've seen is some clients that have come over to us have, hundreds, if not thousands of pages of AI generated content. So they went all in over the past year and they were like, produce content. And they just have a system where they're producing content. It's similar to where I think about a decade ago, some attorneys got wise and started producing news results and putting, basically every accident and traffic crash onto their website, trying to get those leads. And it just became clutter. It became noise on the website, and it actually degrades your performance of your website. So we've been working with some clients to revise that content, get them re-indexed, get the site back to normal, because they basically trash their own website. So just be careful of producing too much content. Again, it goes back to your content needs to be unique. It needs to be factual. It needs to have hyper-focused details. If you do those things, the content will rank high. And yeah, you can use AI to help you with that. You can use AI to help research everything. But if it's not factual, hyper-specific, and focused, it's not going to rank high. And you're not going to be in the AI search. You're not going to be in the regular search results. So
Yeah, and I would note one other thing I've seen on development is maybe attorneys, I guess, biting off more than they can chew, so to speak, on technical items. For example, I had an attorney that accidentally deleted their entire email platform because they were going through and they were trying to review how to update their IT systems and so forth, but it ended up backfiring massively. So I would just be aware that stay in what you're comfortable with and not trying to kind of take on more than what you're used to taking on.
I think what I'm seeing is that people assume that AI is user friendly completely. And they just say, well, if I churn something into AI, like with the content, it's going to come out something really good. But what I noticed when I first started using AI to like test out how it was writing content and things like that, I didn't really value what you were saying in the prompts. So I thought if I just said 500-word article about personal injury and dog bites, it would be what I needed to know. But then as I started playing with it more just to train myself and get that knowledge, I realized that I had to go in and be like, in a conversational tone, don't use lists, don't use bullets, include a top 10. And you learn how to prompt what you needed AI to curate for you. And I think that's the mistake that I see people making a lot is they go in, assume it's just like one sentence prompt is going to be all I need without going back to refine it and then learning the tricks to how you can manipulate what you're trying AI to get AI to do. Like in our meeting that we had team wide this week, one of our developers shared that like there's actually courses you can take about how to use AI prompts and things like that. So if you are going to be one of those people who's going to use AI in a better way, which is great, and we encourage that, just realize that it's not as easy as one sentence into AI and magic is done. You have to learn what it is that you're telling AI to do and make sure you say it in the right way. All right, so for this, okay, for everybody who's listening, made it through, what are we telling our clients to do with AI? What should every one of our clients do to upgrade their site and how they do things with AI this year?
Yeah, so I'll go ahead and start. I would definitely recommend going with a AI chat intake system. It absolutely is going to be better than just filling out contact forms. We'll have a lot more information on that as we go this year. As far as AI products go for your website, that would really be my only recommendation now, besides using all of the tools in your arsenal just to make your life easier while working on your website and managing your website.
And I would recommend content, just a review of your content overall. Don't have it write all your content for you, but have it review, edit, grammar, spelling. Those are the basics, but it can do a good job of getting the basics and then proposing new ideas for your content too.
Yeah, I mean, I already gave my recommendation to make sure you learn how to do the prompts, but if I'm going to add in another one, because why not? We're talking. I would add in that realize that it is going to change how people are going to find your website and how they're going to find your firm. I mean, we've been preaching why clients should be optimizing their websites for Google and SEO for years and years and years. And now it's the same thing. It's that if you are out of the AI playing field, if you're not getting indexed by AI, if you're not showing up in AI search, you may be losing out on potential clients. So for your website, yes, do all the things that Pete and Andrew just said. But like I said, on my little tangent here, just make sure that you're thinking about how it's going to impact your marketing as a whole as well. All right, Andrew and Pete, thank you so much. I think we gave our clients a lot to think about. Everyone, thank you for listening. And remember, tune in next time. And if there's anything that you're dying for us to answer, any questions you have, remember, you can always reach out to us on paperstreet.com or comment on our YouTube and Spotify. Thanks so much, everybody. Have a great one.